Well, it says I'm live. Hello, folks. Sorry for the 3-minute wait. I do apologize. Okay. It's going to sound bad, but I'll lube up the lips. There we go. Okay. Lots gone on. You're going to see me with a red face for probably quite some time. I've had a back issue, and it kicked in exponentially today. Really bad, actually. So I almost canceled out of today. Anyway, and as I now need to do business because I didn't get to do that because of how bad my back was. So please excuse me for a moment. At least I'm live. Hello. Hello to Restore Belief with Nikki. I'm Nikki. Today's topic is going to be on basically super soldiers. Or soldiers, as I call them. And you will see my background going. I've got a fan going, and it's shaking some curtains. So this is also going to be dealing with government. This is also going to be dealing with ETs who are working with the government. So those are the topics today. If people come into chat, because I did not promote this much at all because of my back, because of the amount of pain I was in, or have been in, I should say. So the see, now I've lost train of my thoughts at the second. So excuse me a second as I do what I should have done before this, long before this. So for everybody, I do apologize. Please give me a moment here. There is really quite a lot to discuss. Oh my God. Anyway, it's just, there's a lot. I have notes galore. And you're going to get a mixed bag of everything, but it will be in one video that I can do right now. That is a big deal to me. So I will try to get that taken care of appropriately. Now, hang on one second, folks. I gotta, God, I'm really out of it. I apologize, guys. Let's see. Okay, so that is up. This needs to be fixed. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I guess that's what I'm doing. Anyway, hey, Christine. Hi, Joe. Hi, Woo Riders. I'm trying to survive. It's been a wild ride today. So I'm trying to get the bits and pieces up for everybody right now. Things that I normally take care of in the afternoon, but I was in so much pain, folks. So I'm doing a bit of business, but tonight's subject for those that just joined is the topic of soldiers. What I call soldiers, I don't call them super soldiers. Other people are calling them that. And I'm remembering a lot more. It's bit by bit. And so, oh God, Drew. Drew just sent me a funny message. Which I appreciate. He helps to keep me laughing, and that actually means a lot. I have a few friends that do that, that stay kind of consistent when there's so much crap going on. And I'm not talking... Oh, I moved wrong. Okay, Doc, and I'm speaking to somebody who's living, who, if he ends up hearing this, you might get your oohs, ahs, and ouches for your Halloween ghosty house tonight. Oh. We have a standing thing that we've talked about for a year, and both of us keep forgetting to do this. This is my back doctor. And during the month of October, he puts up a ghost house that for his patients, and I make such oohs, ahs, and ouches and high pitched squeaks and stuff. He's like, "We ought to record you." I'm like, "That's a great idea." So I might take from today. Ow, I might take from today and use that for him. Depends on how high pitch, because I can get really high pitched squeaks and squeals, and some folks just think that's hysterical. So, and I don't have any problem with it. I just it cracks me up. I would do that for him in a heartbeat. Everything that he's done for me, that it means a lot. Trying to get everyone that I typically get for this anyway. So, because of what I have remembered more of and how shocking it has been, because there really have been some very deeply shocking things that I have remembered. My hair's not doing what I think it should do. Anyway, it's been really interesting in how I'm dealing with it, and how this is a difficult subject. It's actually a lot more difficult than dealing with ETs, which has just absolutely astounded, shocked, and surprised me. So that has been a hell of a situation to realize. I need to say it right now. It's been hard, folks. It's been really, really hard dealing with the memories of some of this. Dealing with it's surprising. Really surprising, in fact. I'm doing okay with it. I'm not happy about it, but I'm doing okay with it in the grand scheme of things. I'm using all of the old school techniques I was taught, and thank God for them. They have been a mind bender in being able to even handle these things. Okay, I can actually get you your link. There's somebody. Oh, come on. This old phone. So, that all said, I think I'm actually finally truly ready to delve into this. I still need to get my... Oh, I still need to get... Oh, God, I hope I did this right. There we go. I still need to get my notes, which I will do right this very second. Sorry, guys. It's just... when you can only handle so much physical stuff, and then... Hey! Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Amy. I figured you were, but I wasn't sure. Okay. No, it's not under screenshots, Nikki. You put it in a very specific... There you are. Okay, so... I don't know, how long was it ago was this? Well, this says 1 week ago. So 1 week ago, somebody... 1 week ago, somebody in not a chat, in a Facebook... I got brain fart tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I had to take some pain med in order to even begin to be here today. It got really bad and really scary bad. Okay. And I didn't want to have to take anything, but there would be no way this was happening. And I think that today the subject matter is so important that it needs to be discussed. It needs to be heard, whether you believe it or not. There are a lot of you that have known me for 1 or 2 years. There's others who have known me for 6, and still others known me for 8, 15, or even 30, 20 or 30 years. You know that for me to come out and to even talk about these difficult things, you understand how big of a deal it is to me that these topics are discussed. And you also know, because most of you have been involved in my life in one way or another, that I, 1, try not to pull any punches with information. 2, I believe that public has the right to know on numerous factors. There are some things I don't agree with people doxing each other. And thank you to the other side for giving me heads up and warnings and stuff. This one person is still planning on doing it. That much I know. But I'm like, the chips are going to fall where they may. And there's nothing really else to find out. I am what I say I am. It's researchable. It's typically easy access, if you know what to look for. So, I mean, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, why the fuck bother? I am who I say I am. I've done what I say I've done. And I've got hundreds of people who can back it up. So that's what I say to the ones that want to do the doxing shit. It's such bullshit, in my opinion. That shows me that you're a child and that you've got a child's mentality. You're not worth my time. Besides, all you have to do is ask me and I'll tell you straight up. And if there's something that I will not talk about, I'll flat out tell you that too. All right, that said, so I got to before I even get to this, I have to get to, I'm being pestered as I'm sitting here. It's nowhere near as bad as it was earlier. So sometime around, oh God, I got my notes. Sorry guys, trying to reach for my notebook. So at 1:28 today, I was given this name. At 4:40, they wouldn't shut up. The other side would not shut their frickin' mouths. And I've never experienced this kind of intensity with any name. There will be an urgency to some names, but I've never experienced this. This was one that just shocked the hell out of me. And I know that once I say the name publicly right now, I'm going to have, I can imagine the chat might scatter, which fine, come watch later. But this information needs to be stated. Apparently again, so on Facebook, this name was pestered with me, and like I said, as a psychic, and as tired and as much pain I'm in before I took any pain med, which is one of the reasons why I'm having such a hard time thinking, is because the combination of the pain med and I'm tired and I'm really out of it. So, and the fact that I can even hear him right now on this pain med is speaking volumes to me as to how badly this information needs to get out. One of the things that I stated on my Facebook post was that I don't come after me. Government and ops and service, don't come after me. I don't know anything. I don't want to know anything. I've made it a point with the other side. Well, today specifically, I'm like, I don't want to fucking know what it is. I don't want to know when. I don't want to know the time, day, nothing. I don't want to know anything about it. The fact that you're doing this to me when I've got my father, my grandfather, and my grandmother, and a great aunt, plus numerous other spirit guides saying this name so much, and other spirits. That's the other thing. It wasn't just my family, it was the other spirits that were coming in saying, hello, my name is, and I've written the names down. I'm not going to say what they are, but, and then I'm hearing their voices at the same time. My boy, let me tell you, it's really freaking hard to, when they're all doing it as a group, yet individually, it comes across as name. I've never had that, ever. I'm 50 fucking 6 years old. I have never experienced that with it. And then they're telling me that you need to write this name down. We're going to keep doing this until you do. And it also needs to be publicized. And I went, no. So I thought they'd calm down. Apparently not, because it started back up again a few moments ago. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but if it's that urgent, then those in authority, you need to do your protection detail. I don't know in what way. I don't want to know in what way. I don't want that fucking responsibility. Pardon the F mouths. Pardon the. I do apologize. I'm probably going to get nailed for it from the other side and from the Fae, because that's a whole nother subject. But you need to do your detail better than what you've done it before, because what has happened in the last year has been and I can't stay. Anybody who knows me or knows me well knows that I hate political shit. To get me to even talk about it, I'm not a happy camper over it. And Amy can tell you that, so can a couple of others that typically come in my chat. They know how badly I hate talking about political things. It's like pulling teeth out of me without the advantage of any painkiller. So that said, and the other thing that I haven't said that I did say on Facebook was that when the other side does this with me, they are accurate to the letter, to the detail when it comes to shit like this. So I don't know what's going to take place. I don't want to know. Not my business. It's theirs. One of the two top they're not running mates. One of the two top contenders in political. We're talking the female. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to know. But something big. For them to come at me like this, the way they have, 3 specific times, well, more than 3 times, and that's technical. But basically, in succession, rapid fire on me, where it's the same name over and over again. And even after I get out of my shower, get dressed, deodorized, and whatever else, I literally hear the first name and the last name. Now, it was the first name repeated in rapid fire for me. And they got my attention. I've verbalized this. I've stated it. You people know that I can't stand any real political party anymore. Can't stand them. So don't come at me about, oh my God, this is political. That's what I say to you. This is not. This is me being a psychic, having information, and I'm repeating that information. What you do with it is on you. But I gotta say, in the last year, it's been appallingly bad what you guys have done. For any of them. All of them, actually. All right. Enough of that. I'm done. Government can deal with it as they frickin' see fit. But don't come after me because I don't know shit. All I know is the name and the rapid fire succession of that name for me as a psychic. And I am not okay about it. Oh, I made that apparent. I was not okay with the other side with what they did to me today. They really pissed me off. As much as I love my family and I get that the information needs to get out, you got my attention. That was not cool, though. But as much as I don't like political, if it saves lives, it saves lives. And I do not like wickedness, and you guys know that. Now, all of you know that because I've stated it repeatedly. As much as I get pissed off, as much as all, and I'm babbling, I apologize. I want to get back to the subject at hand. We're 21 minutes into this. It's the fan going. All right. And I get when I'm this tired and this out of it, you're going to see me fuss. I tend to be a fuss budget when it comes to being this out of it. About me. Not so much. Ouch, you guys. Okay, where is the lip balm? Because I'm already needing it. Well, that's never a good sign this early. Okay. Yeah, I really should let him know, although remind him, because he knows a lot of people. A lot of people. I'm not saying who he knows, but yeah, you're right. That's something I'll have to do after the show. Amy, if you could shoot me a message in our specific chat to remind me to do that, because I'm, with the way I am right now, I probably won't get back to doing the time stamps tonight. It's going to have to be an over the weekend type of thing. All right, here we go. So I was in a Facebook group. There was a post about soldiers. Well, it was more than just that, but it was asking a specific question. It was a question to everybody, and I think there's over 3,000 people in that group, I think. And this person and I, the person who originally posted it, I'm not going to say their name because that would be so freaking wrong. But we got into quite a conversation, and because of that conversation and the things that he mentioned, I had to think a second. Because of the things that he mentioned, it actually triggered some more memories. Now, I am also in a different group, and a few people have made mention of things, and that triggered more memories. Which they triggered flashbacks, then they triggered, okay, how do I say this? Some of the triggers triggered flashbacks. Some of the triggers triggered large sections of memory. Okay. That said, and there's another thing that I wanted to say, but I can't. It's like a running thought, and I can't grab it. And that's just how kind of addled my brain is right now, because I'm too out of it for this. But I feel this is so important that needs to be talked about. Because I'm going to be blunt. What I've got to say, some people are not going to believe. Even some of my close friends aren't going to believe it. I've had that conversation in the last week, but that's not accurate. In the last 3 weeks, I've had that very conversation with people about various things that I tell them that I know are truth, absolute truth to me, because of what I have witnessed. what I have personally outright experienced, and quite a lot of that has been validated by a lot of other people because of their own experiences. So I get it. If you don't believe this, just be open to stay and listen. Oh, and I never said the name. The name was Kamala. Doesn't surprise people, but anyway, they need to do their. I just realized I didn't say the name. So please don't scatter. Anyway, because I know there's algorithms for safety, security, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they need to do their security. They need to up their security. I don't know what's going to take place. I don't fucking care. I don't want to know. I mean, I care, but I don't want to know. So do your frickin' jobs and do it better than you have in the last year. Appallingly stupid shit taking place. Anyway, it's another subject. And go back through my earlier part of my video. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, go look it up in the first 22 minutes, I think is what I said. Matter of fact, I need to write that down. I think it was the first 22 minutes. 21, 22, min, vid, live. Okay. Oh, that does not look like an E. That looks like a C. Oh, that's fun. Means my handwriting is fucked up tonight. All right. So here we go. Oh, fuck balls. So I was having a conversation with this guy in this group Facebook group thing. And he triggered a lot of stuff from his own, because of his own memories and what he knows a lot more of his own memories. There were titles. There were people. I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. There were a lot of pieces of information that he said. There were some that I didn't recognize, which makes sense because, I mean, why would I? Oh, that's what I was going to look up. God freaking. Sorry, guys. This one I actually do have to check out and make sure that I've got the correct name before I repeat a name. No. Yes, here we are. Okay. Oh, 1 of 5. Oh, frickin' hell. No, I wrote it. It was. Son of a. All right. Well, I just found out some information. Hopefully, no, I will remember it because it's in other notes. Okay, so. All right. Here we go. Having this conversation with this guy, and it was a very lengthy, it was over the course of about 15 hours worth, long paragraphs to each other. And most people know that if there's something important to me, I'll write I freaking write a book. I mean, that's pretty much a given. Anybody that has ever worked with me pretty much knows that. Okay, I gotta shift. Well, at least I'm not screaming. So here we go. Some of the names, I will tell you. I'll tell you what I recognize and what I do not recognize. Joint Defense Force Command, also known as the Dark Fleet. I do not recognize the name Dark Fleet. I know other people have said it, but I don't recognize it. I recognize Joint Defense Force Command. Form of like a Navy type of thing, but in space. Mars Defense Force. That I know. That's the one that popped for me and popped in a major way, caused a lot of triggers, caused memories of, I'm going to say feet and not boots. Feet on the ground, in how they walk, in how they sound, in how many going in and out of hallways. Recognizing, it triggered me to start recognizing more and more uniforms. There's a lot more to that one, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet. And that's kind of the essential to the Marines for the U.S. And then you have the Earth Defense Force. I've heard that before, and I don't mean just in circles. I've heard the name, but I don't. It's not one that pops like the Mars Defense Force. That one, wow, that triggered a lot of memories for me, like really hardcore. Okay, so here we go. So not only did it trigger, and this is in my notes, not only did it trigger flashbacks, it triggered many flashbacks, which opened up into like large partials of memory, if that makes sense. I don't know how. It's not a full memory. I can tell that it's not a full memory. It's like there's more, but I can't. It's like seeing my vision through a camera, and I can't turn my head, but I know something's over here that I would see if I could open up the memory more. That's kind of how my brain operates sometimes when I'm in hypervigilant mode. I get into this mode to where my brain automatically details in great detail what is in a room, and I have that ability has been used both on planet, off planet, and while I've been in astral, which is a really bizarre thing to say, but anyway. So I've remembered more other command rooms because of that title, and again, that title is Mars Defense Force, MDF. So I remembered more military officials, actual men and women with military officer ranking. I've remembered them. I don't have names right now. I've got glimpses. Glimpse is not the right word. Clip isn't either. It's like a mini fragment. It's like a flash, a real, it's so fast of the flash that I can't grab it and retain it and open it up. But I have, and there's quite a few of them. I also have their voice, how they sound. Matter of fact, I had the other side tell me, I want you to watch, and I'm like, all right. And they're like, just scroll. And so I start scrolling, they're like, stop. I stop, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, oh, has to do with pilots. Well, that's one of the other things that I've remembered because of the last 2 weeks, but really since the last week. And one of those is that, and actually I had 2 people tell me I was a pilot. They remember me as a pilot. And it's funny because I've had memories of things like that. Matter of fact, it's very rare that you will see me without my headphones, because they are comforting to me and they knock out sound. And I have been more that way in the last 10 years. A lot more that way in the last 10 years. And it's really predominant in the last 3. It's a form of me protecting my ears from the outside sound, because what I've got are noise canceling out headphones. And yet I am better, which is interesting, depending upon what I'm watching or listening to. The headphones work both ways. They also amplify, for me anyway, as a psychic medium, they amplify some of the things that, which is bizarre. I've never heard another psychic talk about that. But it's like, for me, it amplifies what they're saying. But yet it quiets everything around me out. In the last 7 to 9 days in my neighborhood, this neighborhood's pretty quiet, with the exception of a fire engine or police rolling through up the main drag, a little ways up, or over, back, whatever. Anyway, a little ways over. And see, that's the other thing. What happens when I'm on pain meds? I hate it when I do that. So ridiculous mouth. Anyway, so in the last 7 to 9 days, we've had especially in the last 3, we have had more fire engines flying by, more police, and more ambulances flying by. And I find it interesting that it's all happening right around the solar. It was all around the solar burst. It was all around. There was even gunfire in the middle of the night, and I was like, "Oh, I reckon that." And I literally named the weapon. I would be interested to find out if there. I'm sure there's a police report of it somewhere. Find out what kind of weapon was fired, because I'm sure somebody reported it. I was just like, lovely. But it was at a distance, and even at an echo, I know my sounds, and it's real specific. It's one of the things and reasons why my brain remembers the way it does. Okay, so getting back into this, people are not going to believe me when I say that I've been on Mars. I know I have been on Mars. I've known that for a long time, many, many years. Well, many, but not that many. We're not talking over 10. I could feel it. And I find it absolutely hysterical. That Mr. Musk is talking about creating a base on Mars. There's already a base on Mars. Honey, there has been one for, God, over, I want to say over 1,000 years. There's been one. It's been, matter of fact, there's a city in the planet itself. There's a very large city. Part of it is a base, part of it is a city, a full-blown city. And it's incredible. And as one of my hybrid sons has told me, Mama, it's cold. It's cold, and he didn't like it because it was so cold. He could deal with the education. He wasn't happy sometimes, but I mean, they're learning very, very rapid. For them, it's very rapid fire, regarding how they're teaching, but that's how ETs do things with their children. Well, they're my children, but that's beside the point. But they're teaching them in very specific ways, and that was one of the things that he kept talking about, was how cold it was on where he was at. And he showed me where he was at, although I can't say what part of the city he was in. I do know, I did recognize the corridors and things. So, Robert, There would be somewhere. Yeah. And it's nice to see you, Robert. Thank you for coming in. Maybe Musk left his calculator up there. Yeah, that's, anything's possible. I truly do not believe that he is not somebody in the know. And if he isn't, and I'm wrong on that, then it leads me to believe that he's not trustworthy enough to know that kind of information, which is interesting because don't they have a lot of contracts? Don't they have a lot of military contracts? Doesn't aren't they um part of the military industrial complex? I know he's tried to keep some of that out, but now I may be wrong. I may be barking up a wrong tree, and somebody can very politely correct me on it. I don't mind being corrected. That doesn't bother me. Just be nice about it. Not a smart ass or an asshole about it. Because I'll delete your ass and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Musk himself. And what I mean by delete is, I mean, the comment. Anyway, but if I am wrong, I do apologize. In either of those scenarios. Anyway, my point is that there's already, honey, I've been up there. I've had it confirmed by other people, and I'm really far off. I this is so drawn out right now. I significantly heartfelt apologize, guys. I really, from my heart, I apologize. I did not mean to. And this is one of the other reasons why I didn't want to do a live, but I truly believe this is important info. Okay, so as most people know, I've got a very deep anger at the U.S. government. I want to get back to that in just a minute. Amy made a very good point. Amy, he does have contracts in launching military satellites, but they are known satellites. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. See, I don't keep up with that stuff anymore. I've got my own life. I'm trying to get things changed in my home, because things have taken so damn long, and it's because of my back and my back injury. And for those that get upset with me over the fact that this isn't a professional podcast like it was supposed to be, get over it. Number one. Number two, then you pay for the equipment that I need and be a benefactor. Benefactor. God, see, I'm not using my words right. Anyway, be a benefactor and buy the supplies that I need so that this can be. You want it pro? I would like to have it pro. And me to be on time. God, that irritates the shit out of me. Anyway, and I would have done today at 8:00 instead of 7, but everybody knows it's 7 p.m. on a Thursday. All right. So the Mars thing being done with regarding Musk, Mr. Musk, regarding some of the memories. I'm not talking about all the memories because it really is quite a big deal. There's a number of countries that have different sections of that city. There's a number of extraterrestrials that have sections of that city. I call it a city. I don't know what else to call it. It's more than just a base. But that's what I'm going to call it for that. Yeah, Robert. To quote Bobby Singer of Supernatural regarding non-professional setup. Well, boo-hoo, princess, end quote. It's actually pretty funny. I didn't get to see beyond the first 2 seasons of that show, and it was a show that I dearly loved. I think that was during the time of my back injury, and I was just trying to survive. Thank you. I appreciate that, Robert. Anyway, so there really is there's a jump room between, well, there's more than one, between Mars and the moon, and there's a jump room between the moon and Earth. I know that. I've seen the room. I have not, that I'm conscious of. I've not experienced either of them. Or I say that now because I haven't remembered. I remember being in the one on Mars. I remember passing by it as well, numerous times. I remember watching people go on the one on Mars. But I can't, it's like part of that memory has got a veil, a curtain over it. It's like I can see the images of people, but I can't see who it is on the platform. And I call it a platform because I don't know what else to call it. It's real specific. It kind of reminds me of what they've got. It's different, but it kind of reminds me of what they've got in all the TV shows and TV movies. Distorted, Robert. Yes, that's exactly the word. It is distorted. But it's like it's got a clear film, a fogged but clear film, just enough to see the light and the people and the colors of what they're wearing, that kind of thing. It's real similar. This thing, it's real similar to what Star Trek has on their, not their holodeck or their holopad. What the hell are they called? Where they transport people. I don't remember what that's called at this section at this moment, but cataract imaging transporter. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. So basically, what I saw taking place is there's a line to use that. You have to schedule those, typically, unless there's some kind of an emergency or something. But that's how I remember it. That's how I remember them right now. The one that is on the moon, I actually remember. It reminds me weirdly of a bunker. And I remember standing in the room to the, well, it would have been to my right, but it would have been to the pad's left of this. And there's a wall, there's like a wall of brick, not brick, oh my God, cement gray wall around it. Well, not all the way around it, but around one section of it. And there's a reason why that wall is there. It has something to do with how the energy comes up in the room and grabs the person and transports that. Thank you, Robert, for that word. I could not pull that out. It transports them in a very specific way. I don't remember any more than that. But I remember being there. I remember watching it happen in front of my eyes and being like, this is normal. This is normal, natural. Why aren't we doing this on Earth? Actually, there's a couple of TV shows now that I think about it. Like, what the hell was it called? Stargate? The original Stargate. There's an episode of a futuristic timeline that the character Sam, they were all in, but it was after they met. Anyway, it was a long ass time ago. For that specific episode, if I can find the episode, I'll post it eventually post it in the description box in the time stamp. God, my brain. Anyway, this may be a longer live than what I ever anticipated. Sorry, folks. But like I said, I do believe this is important information to people that have like flashbacks. They're having flashbacks and they can't figure out what it is. Well, it's very possible it's because you were part of these programs. Robert said the wall is a radiation dissipation collector. That one, and he goes on, that one Sam had to send a message through to the past. Yes. What the hell? The character, the male character, send it through to, it had to be to Jat. That's the character. Thank you, Dad. Dad knows how much I love those shows. But anyway, yeah, and he got O'Neill. Yeah, thank you. He got it. The character's name was O'Neill. So with 2 L's, yeah. Basically, so it's like how they were transporting, just walking in and you're off and you go. And I'm like, that should have been done here about 20 years ago, or in the process of being done 20 years ago here on Earth. And it's not. And it's appalling. There's so many things that I could go off the list that the technology here has been stifled, and it's been stifled for a very nefarious reason. It's called greed, MFS, greed, amongst other things. Plus, if you increase the technology, what ends up taking place with a society is they grow faster, and they don't want society growing. They don't want the mass population growing faster, so they're keeping. And actually, Musk, this is directed at you, sir. You have probably the highest probability of gaining that knowledge, and if you can, I highly suggest, because you're somebody who would put that out there. I believe you may, and granted, I don't necessarily get along with everything that you talk about and preach and carry on about, but that is something I will say to you, sir. Look into it. Get into your contacts. Start asking, why has our technology been stifled? Because, honey, you're using people who are very science up to date, but there are people that are far advanced, farther advanced than you can ever imagine. And I know you can imagine pretty damn good in a lot of that. But you need to retain some of those people that the government has and meander them over. Because if you can do that, I am here to tell you, you will open up technology by leaps and bounds. Hey, Tim. Listening in. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you coming. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat that, Amy, but I get it. I think he's just like everybody else that's in the government and doing all of it. I think he's out for himself. But, if he has an opportunity to where he can open up society, or somebody like him in the tech industry that isn't completely monopolized by government, then if he has an opportunity to, and he's willing to show more of what technology can really become, further advancing it, I'm all for that. With the exception of AI, I do not like what I'm seeing with AI, and it is actually, we are in line with one of the things that I have seen, psychically seen, and that is how severe, if we continue to allow AI to do what it is doing now, in the next 20 to 50 years, we are in serious danger. serious danger. And if Musk, if somebody put this through to him, if you really are listening, have one of your people go back through my description boxes and go through the timestamps, because now I'm talking to you, bub. I talk about some of the predictions I've been given as to what is going to take place with not just the United States, but with the Earth. And we right now are in that time frame to where if things do not stop for certain things regarding AI, for certain things regarding tech, if those things are not put a stop to, or seriously sectioned off in a specific way, we are heading to some of the areas and the locations that our society and people are not going to want. And the control was astronomical. The global control was just astronomical, and something just happened. Am I still here? No. So, Christine, Nikki, I wonder if you're feeling pain today due to the northern lights in some way. I experienced that already before this. I did something that I very badly wanted to do, and that was make my mom's famous baked beans. And I know better than spending the entire amount of time that I did in dealing with it. I also couldn't find the recipe, and there was a whole nother issue with that. And so the amount of time that I was up, the amount of time that it caused, I think what has taken place is that I have pulled a muscle on my low back, and it's very swollen, and it's in really bad shape right now. And so I've taken the last of my pain meds that I've got, and I've got to go buy more. But that's where my pain is coming from right now. But it's been really bad. It's been to the point to where I've been in tears on a number of occasions. Matter of fact, I'm on 2 ice packs right now. So yeah, it has been agony, Robert. I can't. It's been really bad. So I have some specific kind of body rub that is healing and will help with pain topically, but internally I've had to take some meds, and they usually really wipe me out and make me almost damn near a zombie when it's at this level. So yeah, Robert and Tim are having a conversation, and so is Christine. It looks like they're talking about the Northern Lights. And yeah, the Northern Lights can really take effect. The solar, it's actually what's doing it is the solar, the M or the X class. I can't remember. I think it's the X class. Solar. That's what really did. That actually did me in over the weekend. See, I can't read that out loud, Christine. I can't read that out loud. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, Robert says the solar flare is hitting the biosphere of the Earth. Yeah, it is. It really, and the Earth's magnetic pull has always severely affected me. So you have that going on. You have the solar stuff going on. Then you've got this pulled, what I think is a pulled muscle. And it's just I need to get in to see my doctor and see if he can treat it, but that's not going to happen until next week, so because their office is closed tomorrow. So anyway, all right, so back to the subject at hand. One of the comments that I made to this guy on this Facebook group was that I had commented about how certain voices of specific high-ranking asshole officers. Granted, not all the officers were like that, but I got the freaking joy of dealing with a couple that to this day I'd like to see hit in the head with a real heavy cast iron skillet for what they forced me to do and forced my soldiers to do. They were wicked orders. And that's when I said my deep anger at them just kicked in. So I've had more than 2 people now tell me what ship I was attached to. And it really I know they're correct. Every cell in my body freaks out over every time I hear the ship's name. And that is just a mind bender to me. Absolutely a mind bender. So here are my notes. The subject for tonight was soldiers, or a form of space soldiers, or what some people call super soldiers. I don't call them super soldiers. And when I had talked about my soldiers, that's because I was in one of the command rooms. One of the other things that this person confirmed was that many people do their, let's see if I can find it again. Let's see. Oh, come on. Many of us did our basic on Mars. See, the thing is, what I have a real issue with regarding government, and this is going to get where it gets really nasty and really wicked. So if you can't handle that, it's time for you to go. Excuse me. I'm trying to swallow and talk at the same time. Robert says, every time I hear super soldiers, the term mentioned, I hear Edna from Incredible screaming, "No capes!" Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say. These soldiers, they are made, created, controlled, enslaved, and deliberately used by both the U.S. government and certain races of ET, without the U.S. government ever compensating them. Their monetary compensation should be $380 million. Here's why. I know this monetary number because it is what we are told that the U.S. government has invested in each soldier used in whatever way. Yet we receive zero money compensation. We are kidnapped, typically as children or as youth, and forced into this bullshit business of theirs, and we are never recognized for all the achievements that we have made. In point of fact, we are belittled and flat out told by other people that we are psychologically effed up simply because we are openly talking about what we remember and in how we are or were used by the US government and conglomerates by this in their secret corrupt society and culture of doing things behind sealed vault doors where we are to do their bidding, typically against our will, as we did not sign for this. Okay. We did not sign on for this. We did not sign up for this. There are no soul contracts for this. I will state this again. Most of us were kidnapped, or a more polite way of saying it is that the US government is abducting its own children, citizens, and putting them into a form of slave labor. I'm not joking when I say this. I'm very serious about it, and I am really frickin' pissed off. Why do you think numerous children are going missing? It's not just the stereotypical stuff. There's a lot of other reasons besides the nefarious sexual crap. They're also being taken for these purposes as well. And I was one of them. That's why when I remembered me being 8 years old and having a fucking cattle prod into my back on 3 separate occasions and into my front ribs in a very specific way because I wouldn't comply, I don't give 2 shits what you think of me anymore. I know what I remember. I know where I stand on this. And I'm livid. I'm absolutely livid that this is still going on to this day. I'm absolutely livid that children have been, were, and are continued to be used in these measures. This is absolutely unacceptable. Slave labor, folks. And then you're forced to forget, or you're given drugs to forget. Thank God for the other ETs, the ones that I had soul contracts with. I told you I would eventually remember this, and I am remembering it. I told you years ago in different public forums, different public ways, that one day I want to remember it all. Well, I've been told consistently that it is not safe for me to remember it all. That it will put me in jeopardy. It will put my life in jeopardy and my family in jeopardy. Okay, so then I want to remember as much as is possible that completes the entire story. Fine. Because I'm not going to put my family in jeopardy. Or those that I consider family. I won't do it. But I'm not going to stop talking. I will not allow you to stop me from talking about this. I will not allow you to continue taking children. This is something people should be enraged about and put a stop to. I know you do things differently now. I don't give 2 shits that you do things differently now. I don't care. The fact that it's still going on and still taking place. You want to talk corruption? No, I'm outraged. I'm being beyond outraged. I want to see action taken. I want to see something done to where this shit stops. That all said, all right. Government is abducting its own children, citizens, and putting them into a form of slave labor. It is not a form, it is slave labor. And I'm not stating that out of malice, but out of what I remember as of this date, October 11th. Yes, 10th, 11th. Whatever today's date is. It's Thursday in October 2024, and I have not had any hypnosis regression sessions. I've been horrified by what I am remembering. So after saying all of that, I'm saying now that I want my $380 million, bastards. You have compensation you owe every single one of us. Every one of us. How the hell am I supposed to know where 380 million? I've been trying to figure that out for a couple of weeks now. And then I started remembering it. Because we were told that that was what we were worth. Because that's how much they put into us. Yet, we are forced to forget in whatever way, in trigger words, in passing, somebody that you consciously do not recognize, you think you have never come across them, and they've got a trigger word for you, and you automatically either flip into a different personality or alter. I haven't experienced that. I got told that they couldn't break me, that they couldn't break my mind. This is what I was saying. Thank God for the ETs who put me into the hybridization program, because they taught me things. Thank God they taught me how to protect my brain. Because if they hadn't have been, things would have been very different for me. Now, how do I know that the 20 and back is real? I don't 100% know that it is, but I know in my gut that huge chunks of it are real. I trust the certain men and women that I know right now who have said they have been a 20 and back. Why do I trust them? Because I remember them when I was on Mars. I remember them on my headset. So I call them headphones, but anyway, on my headset. I remember talking to them and giving them explicit orders that were given to me by higher command. Did I have a rank in this? Yes. I am not military. In this life, I have never been U.S. military of any kind. Neither has my son. But apparently, and I say that in a wicked way because I'm mad, I am. Over there, I have rank. Do I know what that rank is right now? No, I haven't remembered it. But because they couldn't break my mind, and thank you for the Arcturians that did an extensive amount of teaching, because I honestly believe they saved my life. I honestly believe that they saved my life by doing what they did to protect me. If we're worth, each one of us, $380 million, that's what we've never signed NDAs. There was not, that I can remember right now, there was not one single solitary signature done. Because that would have been a liability. Because, hello, you're used as a slave race, as a slave force, not race, as a slave force for them. So if you built us and created us to be what you wanted us to be, now I will say there were things that I have remembered that I truly loved doing. One of them was fighting in hand-to-hand combat, and I was damn good at it. I know this. I can feel it in every cell in my body. I can feel it. Not only can I feel that, I can also feel, hey, Drew, good to see you, dear one. I can also feel that I was a pilot. I've had trigger memories anytime I have started playing one of the free Facebook games that deals with AI, that deals with younger images of yourself in military uniform. I've actually been horrified by what I remembered because of those triggers. It's been absolutely appalling and shocking to me. I've been horrified by what I remember. But at the same time, there are parts of this that I remember that I deeply treasure. I now understand. I could never understand why there were certain things in my regular life that I deeply love. Gymnastics being one of them, ice skating being another, Olympic luge. It's because it reminds me, luge actually reminds me of being a pilot and learning how they taught us, how do I say this, regarding the sleds, what I call the sleds. It totally and completely reminds me of the sleds that I was driving when I was a child. They taught this in order to for us to become pilots. For those of us who were doing pilots, I have memories, and for whatever reason, I literally just about got shut down internally. Other side, I don't know how else to say that. In other words, I think that's their warning to me in what I wanted to say. Yeah, Drew's saying she has military rank in the alien world. Yeah, I do. I have no idea what the hell it is, but I do. Everybody's saying hello to each other. True. I'm up for beer aliens and naked women. That's funny. That actually got me to laugh. She has to be careful though. Yeah, I do. I have to be extremely careful. I'm getting messaged right now. They don't know that I'm on the live. Anyway, so we are, each one of us is $380 million worth. I want my compensation. If I'm worth $380 million to you, you haven't paid me one frickin' cent. You have put me into, I want my money. I'm not joking. And this is not blackmail. I'm going to frickin' talk about it no matter what anyway. But each one of us are owed our money. That is money that could have changed my life over the course of my timeline. I get why I like certain things now, and it makes perfect sense to me now. It's just it's taken me a long time to wrap my brain around a number of factors of all of this. I get that this is going to be difficult for a lot of people, and a lot of people know me well enough to know that I'm not going to lie to you. What the hell is the point in lying to you? What the hell is the point in creating stories and fake shit? Why would I even bother? Why would I try? I don't want this kind of attention. I want to go about and live my life, but I have what I feel is a moral obligation, and it's not just moral. I honestly believe that these information, these pieces of things need to be discussed. They need to be brought out into the open and talked about because it is wrongdoing. If you have children, I'm here to tell you, if I ever find out that any of my children are used in that way against their will, there will be hell to pay. I will make sure of it. I'm not, I make no bones about it. Anybody that knows me as a mother, I'm not somebody you want to F with. I will back my kids tooth and nail. Human or hybrid. Or kids that that I have considered for years and years my second kids. They know I'll be there for them if they ever need me. If I have the ability to be there for them, I will be there for them. And if I don't, then I'll find other ways that I can try and help. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with being taken out of my bed, or hell, taken out of a van. I'm not okay with any of that. I'm really pissed off over it. That's why I use the cast iron skillet image, because cast iron, nice and heavy. Frying pan gives the impression, hello, I'm a mom, I'm a woman that is at a stove a lot, dealing with whatever. I mean, I want something that's going to make a dent, a nice big frickin' dent to make an impact and say, hey, this is not okay. You have no business doing this. I didn't say death. That would be too good for him. Yeah, Drew is saying, yeah, she is spilling the beans. She has to be careful with what she says. Yep. And he's saying, I've had many quite interesting private conversations with Nikki, and she gets defensive, and man, I would stay clear if I was them aliens. Yeah, or military. I mean, I've had some, there are military men and women that I do trust on this planet. There aren't many, but there are some. And I trust them for damn good reason. And they know I trust them. I've actually had 2 of them save my life. That's beside the point. Anyway, so yeah, we are used. You don't think it's happening. It is happening. And it's interesting that the people that are calling the diddler, I think that's a ridiculous name, but anyway, and the Epstein Island shit and all this, I mean, it's shit. It's horrific shit, but it's shit. Great big stockpile of it. This is up there. This is up there. And things are starting to make more sense to me now, because there are people that I know that have, somebody woke me up. That's interesting. Somebody's woken my brain up. It's very interesting, because the more and more I come across things, the more and more things are starting to make sense in how corrupt this planet really is, and how severe the corruption goes, how far it goes, how far out it goes, how far out it goes into the other ETs, and how much they know. Because you can recognize one of us. You can easily recognize and feel the energy of one of these soldiers. Now I wasn't doing operations. I was collecting people. That was basically one of my jobs until they sidelined me because I couldn't be fast enough anymore. I now understand that and where that comes from and what they mean by it. In order for me to have my speed that I once did, they want me completely unconscious, not aware, not at all aware, because I'm faster. And that's pretty much how they want it for everybody, because you are faster when you don't know. So you're dramatically faster, in fact. You're almost up to the ET speed. Hello. I don't know what the hell that was about. So that all is what is taking place with it. It's sick. It's vile. It is taking place. It has taken place since I believe it's been the 30s. I could be mistaken. It could be the 40s or 50s, but I know that it's not. It's not the 70s. We're talking. It goes back to the 50s and 60s. I know that for sure from other people that I do trust, who've had very explicit experiences that have come out and talked about those that have talked about those experiences. Oh, it's 8:30. And I'm an hour and 26 into this. And I believe, based on the book that I read when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, that was somebody else had gotten it, but I got my hands on it and got to actually read it and do the photographic memory thing of it's like taking a picture with your mind, and you can put that in a file folder and then come back to read it later on. That's how my brain has always operated. I can still do that, but it takes more effort ever since the government asshats did the targeting with me. But it's still, my brain still operates like that. So I've got all of that locked up, and thank God for a military man who became a very, very dear friend. And we finally figured out how we knew each other and where we knew each other, and different lifetimes and that kind of thing. Thank God for him, because he taught me an even stronger lockdown method. And that's what's used to this day. Matter of fact, it will. And when I say it will kill, if somebody tries to access that information, it will kill them. He taught me a very, very specific technique that he never taught any of his. Oh, sorry. High pitched nerve pain. He never taught any of his lower downs. That's what I was trying to say. God, that was strong. Oh, it's like somebody stabbing me with a. Wow, that's nerve pain. Oh. Wow. Oh, that's fun. Well, Doc, there you go. Oh, mercy. Yeah, so he's the one who taught me, and I know exactly who taught him, how he was taught, and what year he was taught, or years, I should say, he was taught in. So it's something that, and the only reason why he taught me, he saw certain things coming. It's not many people that he would have told that he was psychic. He didn't even have to tell me. I got to see it. Hey, Alice. Oh, hi, sweetie. I'm really glad to see you here. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, bad nerve pain. Yeah, it's been the last few days it's been really rough with the tailbone, but that was almost higher pitched than, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I'm happy you caught my live too, because I think it's like 9:30 your time. I don't remember right now. Anyway, or 10:30. Anyway, thank you for coming in, dear. I very much appreciate it. So yeah, this is a big deal. Our children are being used. Our planet's children are being used in a very, very specific way, and it is appallingly bad as to how they are being used. If they're U.S., that's what transforms into a cute hamster. Thank you. It's not okay, and it's being used. They're basically being taught militaristic things and used in very nefarious ways, and yet at the same time, some of them are used for combat. I know that I was on Mars numerous times. I now understand why I was so into very specific, very, very, very specific forms of, I was going to say exercise, that's not what I mean. Self-defense. I didn't understand why I was so drawn to those things, but I was. I get it now. I fully get it. It's not what I thought it was. It's not why I thought it was. It's so much more nefarious than that. And at the same time, it makes so much sense why things are just, they all jive right across the line. So I'm going to continue reading. So there are things that I'm realizing during all of these triggers that pop up where more flashbacks start happening and more memories are coming back to the surface. And that is this. In the grand scheme of things, I have realized that I am really alone in dealing with all of what I'm dealing with, and it has made me question a lot in my life. It's been a process. But one thing I know, I am absolutely not backing down. I'm not backing down from being public about this. What I learn, you will learn. If I view it as being important enough to state it publicly, that it's not some sort of security risk in some fashion, then I'm going to talk about it. Because I believe that strongly that this information needs to be talked about, that we need to become aware of what is happening. I'm more determined to speak about these subjects because I honestly believe that the public has a right to know. They really do. I truly believe that. And as for many people that know me, I would rather know where you stand, really stand with me in talking about all of these subjects. And I'm not just talking about this, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the ET abductions, I'm talking about coming out and being a psychic and a medium, coming out and talking about all of this, whether you like it publicly or not. I would rather hear from you and have you tell me straight up, because I have had people in the last 4 weeks or so tell me, hey, Sandra, tell me that they haven't believed me. Or that they're having a hard time wrapping their own head around this, whether it's been a person of science, whether it's been a person of medicine, whether it has been somebody, well, I can't say what I want to say. I was going to use an example and I can't, because it would out them and it would make their life seriously dangerous, and I don't want to do that. No matter how known that person is, I would rather have you be upfront with me and tell me, I'm having a hard time with just grappling with what has happened in your life. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I disbelieve it. But I know you, and I know that you wouldn't you wouldn't lie, you wouldn't make shit up, and I know you well enough to know you wouldn't want to even approach this unless it were that important enough to get it out to the public. And I know people, for me to talk like this is a big freaking deal for me. For me to even go public, that and to actually step out of the psychic medium closet, back when I did, it absolutely astounded my family. Well, what do you say? What can you say? So I get that. I had somebody real recently that has known me for more than 20 years tell me, I believe you, but I can't. Basically, they couldn't wrap their head around the information. I get it. I totally get it. I would have a hard time. And I'm the one who's experiencing it. I would have a hard time with what I'm talking about. So, I mean, I get it. All I can say is those that know me know that I would not pull some stupid ass long term shit stunt for attention, because I'm not an attention whore. I've never been one. Matter of fact, I don't. I used to love doing photography and putting people in front of the camera. People to get me in front of a camera was like pulling teeth without the advantage of Novocaine or painkillers. Okay, hopefully I don't pop anything on here. There we go. Okay, I'm trying to turn. Well, that's an interesting dream, Gnome. Drew's talking about a dream he had. That's quite the hell of a dream. So, yeah, it's just, it makes it. So, what I was going to say is I used to live, I still do. My back just can't handle it. I love photography. I've always loved photography. I love art. Always have. But the point with the photography is it was really hard pressed to get me in front of a camera. Now I do it because I feel it's necessary in order to put a current picture of my face out to deal with basically this show. Sorry, I got a spirit here that I don't happen to like who is starting to pester me about certain things, and I'm not going to say it, so just back the F off. I'm being instigated to talk about certain things when they were alive, and I'm like, fuck off. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to promote you. So basically, bite me. Don't start shit with me. You won't like me. Sorry, guys. Oh, and there's 3 people in here. Let's see. Drew, Amy and Robert all probably know who I'm talking. Even Sandra might know who I'm talking about. Alice, you might too. Although I don't know if I actually. No, you might not. I take it back. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, you were around at the time that I had shit go down. All 4 of you. 4 of you who were around at the time that I had stuff going on, and we were in a separate chat. So, or a group. High pitch pain. Ouchie. Okay, so yeah, this kind of thing to talk about these subjects are going to be hard for everybody. I get that. The fact that I have come across and met more than 7, I wanted you to see what that sound was from. More than 7 ETs, well more than 20. That's, I think my memory is doing this to where I can handle it. I can handle different aspects of this. Oh, mercy to Murgatroyd, I'm telling you. It's not been fun. The back pain is just really not nice. So dealing with all of this, there are things that you guys need to take into consideration when you start talking or are in people's chats and we're dealing with the proverbial super soldier or the proverbial secret space government on Earth. You need to take into some consideration about how true this is, where the information is coming from. I now understand why my physically unconceived grandchildren, I now understand why they're telling me that when they come into existence in this lifetime, their souls are telling me that they fully intend, all of them fully intend on making it that they write my book. And I'm leaving everything I can for them so that they can do that. I will be writing my own book. It'll be in my own words. And I'm in the process of talking with people in the know about publishing and about finding an artist that can do as close to realistic drawings and things like that for me, because I don't want anything that's cartoonish. I need an illustrator, but I need an artist in a very specific way. And I do not have a lot of money. Well, I don't have any, but that's beside the point. I mean, I'll figure out a way to work and get the person paid for their art, because I know what that, I know how much that is, that can be. So, and using certain things of AI are not cutting it for me. I need actual real art being done, not done generated by a computer. Solely by a computer is what I should say. So, because I'm finding that I'm getting very frustrated with what I am using. So if anybody knows of some free programs, ouch, please send me a message. If you're on my Facebook page, send me a private message via Facebook Messenger, or if you know email, that is restorebelief2022 @gmail.com. Just let me know. Foxy Joe. Thank you, Foxy Joe, for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate that very much. There's a few others that have as well. Thank you. I also very much appreciate it. I wish I could switch this over. Hello. I appreciate it. That's here's business. You're new to me. Yeah, I know you are, sweetie. Here's the thing. Here's a piece of business. Please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm having sharp. Alice is saying, "Oh, Nikki, are you having back spasms?" I'm having sharp nerve pains. They're like stabbing ice pick pains. It's been really bad. I think what happened is I pulled a muscle a couple of days ago, and I nearly stopped doing the show that I did that I ended up going on last night. I was just going to listen in, and I've posted that on my personal Facebook page, but publicly, and I also posted it on my Psychic Medium Facebook page, so you can find it there. Hopefully I will remember. I'm going to have tonight just to take for myself. I'm not going to be able to go in and do the description box with the timestamps tonight. With this kind of pain, there's no way I can handle it. I can't handle sitting here doing that all night. It takes me a few hours to do it. Yeah, it's been really, really bad. So, but I ended up going, and I was just going to listen in last night to. So here's a show that I am on weekly. It's on Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific time. So that's 10 p.m. Pacific time Wednesday night, every Wednesday night. Unless we have a very rare night off, which we did not this week, but last week. But we do a lot of we talk about a lot of paranormal. Oh God, the show talks a lot about a lot of different things. It can be seen on, or listened to, on Spreaker when it's live. And the recorded ones I always put the replays in a file folder in my playlist, and it's either the file folder either says Eric Cooper on it, or there's one where it says shows Nikki has been on, and I didn't manage to get last night's into either one of those file folders, but that's typically where you can find it. Anyway, last night we talked about paranormal, about the United States education system. There was a lot of things that we talked about. We hit a lot of subjects. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you're able to do that, Alice. Thank you. And that helps me kind of keep track of what subjects people like and are interested in. I wasn't able to do last week's timestamps, so I do apologize for that. I will hopefully I will get to that. I wanted this one to me as well. This one for me is more important than last week's in order to get timestamps. So I will do this one first before I get to the one from last week. But I try usually not to miss any of those. Yeah, it was quite the show last night, Alice. We hit so many subjects. It was really surprising how many subjects, but there basically became 4, but a mix of everything, and it got really, really delved into in a lot of ways. So what it was like for parents on the West Coast versus the East Coast during the lockdown. Yeah, you just hit play and go do something and keep it on in the background while you're getting stuff done, because there's no video to it whatsoever. She was saying, I'll definitely watch the replay. Yeah, it's it was a good conversation last night. A lot of things got very, very serious in a lot of ways, and there were only one expected psychic on last night, but there were 3 of us on. Robert ended up showing up, and I'm not seeing him in chat right now, but yeah, so it was me, Robert, and Rosella C. Rowe, and she's also an author. She's got a she's in Ohio, and she has a book signing in, I can't remember. You'll have to go to the S for Paranormal Bunker Facebook page in order to find out where it's at. But it is this Saturday in Ohio, so which is really cool. It's one of her children's books. If I can, if I have enough, ouchie. If I have enough space in the description box, I'll put it there. If I don't, what you'll typically see me doing is I'll put information in the comment section. So if you're not finding what you want, check the comment section to see if there's extra information that I put in there. You're given 5,000 spaces to create words or images or whatever you want in the description box. And there's sometimes when I do a 3-hour show and I will end up having an entire 5,000 words or 5,000 letters spaces so used. So just an FYI on that. The super soldier, space soldier stuff, I haven't even remotely got. I thought I had all this figured out, how I wanted to have things worded. It obviously is going to be 2 shows. I've got about another 5 minutes, and then Spaced Out Radio comes on. I'm going to go and listen to that in my living room. I can't handle either that or watch the end of the football game if it's still playing. Anyway, and don't ask me who I root. I just heard somebody's going to ask you who you root for. I'm not telling that publicly. There's no way. There's 2 things I won't do. I will not talk politics in the grand scheme of things, and I will not talk about football. Whoo, that's a hot button topic for a lot of people. That and religion. Oh my God. Anyway. So regarding these things that I'm remembering, they are very shocking. I'm finding guys and women that I remember from service. I'm moving my ice pack. Oh, and there goes the shoulder. Pop, pop, pop. So I'm actually meeting people that we're figuring out that's where we know each other from. Not just on board ET ships, ET human ships. We're also recognizing each other mostly from Mars or from the moon, the base on the moon. And they're going to be people that are like, oh, there's no such thing as a base. Yes, there frickin' is. You go down far enough, yes, there frickin' is. I've been there. I've seen it. Can I describe it? I can only describe it in bits and pieces, and then there are sections of it that it's too dangerous to describe, and that's my opinion. But there are people who have, and I'm like, they're right, but they're not describing this section, which I find interesting because it's stuff that can be talked about. And I'm like, well, maybe they don't know or they don't remember. And then there are sections of Mars that in the underground cities, I call it cities. I call it more than one city. It's sections of a city is what it is. But most people call it an underground base. Well, there's so many frickin' sections. It's astronomical. I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's a huge place in the and they're using a form of technology that is mind altering. I mean, it's just absolutely don't care. I literally don't give two shits. I'll be decent. Yeah, sorry. So it's just a huge city. Sector. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate it when people I know help me with words when I am this out of it. Thank you. I appreciate that, my dear. But it's just, there's huge sections, huge sectors of cities, a city that is, and there's so many different forms of military and so many different forms of ETs. Oh my God. There's ET military on there. There's human military, and a number of different kinds of human military. We're not just talking U.S. government. Now, one of the things that I do know that I need to do is I do need to talk to people. No, they're all below ground. They're all under the surface. Ouch. Alice was asking, are these cities above ground? No. They're all underground. Oh crap. Oh, you're live early. Oh, I've missed my 5 minutes. Okay, so it's time for me to go. But yeah, it's a pretty, that's what that buzz was. It's SOR going live. Pretty amazing thing. That's wonderful what I was visualizing. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. In some portions of it, it's a beautiful city. And in other portions of it, it's like other cities. I mean, I get it. And the interesting thing is that in somebody was telling me their experience of being a soldier, and what they described, I about fell out of the chair I was sitting in at the time. What they said, I was like, Stanton Friedman visited me 3 months after he had died. He came to talk to me as a psychic, or as a medium rather. And then that night he gave me what took place. And it was from the 1940s, 1950s, in uniform on a different, what I thought was Earth, but it wasn't Earth. It was on a different planet. And he showed me documentation that he got his hands on. I don't know if it's ever been found in his paperwork. He did tell me that he hid it. He hid the documentation in a very specific way. And I've never talked about that publicly. Not ever. I have talked about that he came to me after he died, but I've never divulged anything like that. But he knew. Stanton Friedman knew. He made it a point to tell me. And he made it a point to show me very specific things that he knew. And I was just about to say something that would have, the government would have gone after. They're still going to go after his information. You're not going to find it. Anyway, but he knew. The man knew. Yeah, Alice is saying, I seriously doubt that would ever come to light if found. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty appalling information. Pretty important information, too. But he knew about Mars. And he knew there was a major issue in the 1940s and 1950s. That's a big deal, folks. Off-world. He had found documentation of it. And he kept it. kept the documentation, which has always led me to wonder if he was actually taken out, if he was, but that's just me, and I apologize to any of his family or friends if that is upsetting. But it is something that I have wondered, because heart issues, I mean, CIA is very well known for that. I'm just saying my personal take on what I know. I don't know if it's real. It's not a made up story, but I can tell you one thing. I have not looked into it. I'm afraid to look into it. I'm afraid to find out. To be quite honest. It's one of those I don't want to know situations. There are certain things where I will bluntly tell the other side, I do not want to know ... And I'll state it outright. And they're like, why? And it's like, do you not understand the responsibility I will then have? Do you not get it? Do you not get what that will do to my soul? That's not okay. So I have a tendency to get real ethical real quick when it comes to certain things. And there are certain things I don't want the responsibility for. So, and I get that too. And it's very frustrating even to me when I say that. But this being an ouch, trying to shift and move. Being an ET abductee and then being told by others over the course of time that, well, yeah, we believe that you, well, individually they were telling me, I believe that you are. But collectively, I have been consistently told, yeah, with everything that you're talking about, with remembering soldiers standing next to human soldiers, no, excuse me, ET soldiers standing next to human military soldiers. I believe you're part of MiLabs. Yeah, I can definitely say that now. I do believe that. Military labs and all that entails. Do I believe I was part of Montauk? No. I questioned it for a while, but no, I do not believe I was part of Montauk. I know people that were. That's a frightening subject. You want to talk about effed up? That's truly scary. Sorry, I just got a text message and I want to be sure that I respond to it. No worries, Alice. Anyway, so that's I guess all I'm going to talk about right now. I made some pretty important statements. Go back and listen. This is drawn out. It's 2 hours and 2 minutes and 50 seconds now. So I'm surprised I've even lasted this long, to be honest. Just do your due diligence in this. It's what I ask of you. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, pay attention to the details that things of people are talking about regarding super soldiers or soldiers. Yeah, I'm gonna. I gotta get into the other ice packs and get some food and some vitamins down me and some herbal anti-inflammatory that will help pretty significantly. But do your due diligence. Pay attention to the details. A lot of these people are talking about when they talk about their super soldier experience. When they talk about their abductions, there are key elements that are running. They're key element threads that are running through all of them, and they're all the same threads. Pay attention to that thread. You pull on that thread, it will show you and open. I was going to say unravel. Unravel isn't the right thing. It's like a bloom. You pull that thread and it will open right up and you'll be able to see the entire thing of it. Wow. On camera, the palm of my hand looked like it was yellow. It's not. Well, that was interesting. Anyway, the information just blooms and opens right up for you to be able to see it. So pay attention. Make notes if you need to. You'll soon find out, quite easily, in fact, who's telling the truth and who isn't. That's a big deal. You want people that are telling you the truth in these experiences, and many of them are real. There was a gentleman on SOR last week. I believe it was last week. I don't remember it this second. Or earlier this week. Like I said, I don't remember it this second. Where he was a super soldier. He talked about it openly. I don't remember his name right now, and I apologize to him because actually it's somebody I'd like to be in contact with. But ouch. He made a comment that I was like, yeah, I know that to be true. You got to follow your intuition, go with your gut instinct. Be careful. You always have to be, you always got to be careful. I've talked about this from day one. You got to be careful who you follow. There are individuals that have been in this community for more than 20 years. And they have been corrupted in one fashion or form. You've got to be really careful, folks. I'm not joking when I talk about this. I know people who have sent certain individuals information, and the information is never vetted. And it just automatically goes out there as gospel truth. No, it's not. It's appalling as to how much that is going on. So that's why when I find and I come across true quality individuals, I will post them in the playlists, the file folders that are classified as playlists. And I'll put those people, I'll put their website, their show. You can find them from their show or the other shows that they've been on. I'll make sure that you guys get the quality people, and I'm not going to put anybody in those folders that I haven't, that I either don't personally. Okay, how do I say this? See, this is where my brain's too tired. Where I either personally know them or have watched them for a long time and know that their information by what they're talking about is true. Or know people that I actually know really well who know the person personally. So just do your due diligence. Research the people. You will find that I didn't start publicly talking about any of this until 2018. That's what you'll find out about me. You'll find that I was born and raised in Seattle. I talk about that openly. That's not a big deal to me. Whoopee bing whoopee. But to keep me safe, I will not talk about where I'm living now. That kind of thing. It's none of your business. But do your research on these folks, okay? And there are reasons why certain people in the industry use false names. That is to keep them protected. And some of them are really good people. They're doing this because they feel it is that important to talk about. And it is. These subjects are that important to talk about. They need to come out in the open. That's driving me nuts. They need to come out into the open. They need to be talked about regarding all aspects of things. And yeah, I do believe there are certain things that the public shouldn't know because it is a safety and a security threat. In one fashion or form, to whatever country or globally, not nationally, globally. And I do have, I've had a very specific, staunch reaction about that kind of stuff. Prime example of that is when I was coming back one of the nights that I had an armed escort. And what I mean by armed, I'm not talking military, I'm talking ETs. I had 4 of them, and they were all men, a male. And they were armed with very, very specific forms of, what do you call it? Psychic ability and manipulation of the human brain. There's a specific word I was looking for, and I'm not finding it at the moment. I had to move my foot. So the point is that I fought. I was punching, kicking, screaming. I was screaming in my head. I was verbally screaming. I was trying to physically do damage. And it took all 4 of them to corral me. Now, these are beings that are over 1,000 years old. And believe me when I say they are not frail by any stretch of the imagination. But to subdue a human in the way that they did, when they released me, I tried to punch them. And it's interesting and almost laughable when I look back at it now, because it's like you're punching thin air, because they're in a frequency you can't physically touch. So, yeah. And it was because I got that way because I saw something that was wrong, that was done, and it was wrong, and my integrity kicked in, and it kicked in a way that I got vicious over. I was like, what you're doing is wrong. It should not be taking place. It should not be happening. And I fought him on it. And I got excused, which was the nice way of saying of get her the hell out of here. It was causing too many problems. I didn't care. I was pissed. Matter of fact, if that is the memory that jives with the one where I tried to punch an officer. Where I tried to punch an officer, yeah, that's a fun one. Anyway. Yeah. Things get fucked up. I don't have a full memory of that. I've got pieces of body memory of that where I literally I knew he was an officer. I could feel it in my body that he was an officer. That's why I'm laughing over it and why I'm kind of hedging on it, because it's like it's part of a memory. It's one of those like mini flashes where you just can't grab a hold of it long enough, but yet your body is reacting to it. Your cells, your muscle memory are reacting to it. And it's like, you know what took place, but you don't have the visual to go with it. Your body is feeling it because you can feel the fist. That's why I chuckle about it, because it's like, well, I know it happened, and I know I got reprimanded for it. But yeah. I just don't know if it correlated with that time where I was escorted off ship. Off planet, off ship. That's how I should say that. So I laugh at it now. I'm just like, well, I didn't laugh at it then because I was cussing them out. Yeah, exactly. Alice is saying too funny. Not that you got the trouble. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I think back on it now, and it's like I stood my ground. I mean, that shows me just how much I don't believe in certain things that they're doing. There are certain things that I absolutely love. Somebody asked me how I felt. Somebody last week, oh God, I gotta think of that. Yeah, last week. Somebody asked me last week how I felt about being militarized. Basically, that's not how they worded it. That's my wording. But basically, how I felt about being militarized. There were aspects of it that I deeply loved. Things like the sleds, things like the pilot being able to fly. I can't remember the ship, but I can't remember the outside of the ship, but I can remember parts of the inside of the ship. I can remember it's a weird form of headset on my head, but it wasn't, they weren't, it was like this, but it wasn't like this. And yet I remember having a full face mask. I remember having a mask that came all the way down to right about here, that protected, that it's like I could see, but yet I had headphones, and yet, oh my God, my pack. Yeah, we're going to have to end. So there are really some fascinating things that I found that I really did love. I love the hand-to-hand combat. That is so me. I'm like, if I was able to be, I wanted to be physical. I mean, hello, I used to hand terrace yards, dig up dirt and hand terrace yards. It's very much like my grandfather in that way, or one of my grandfathers. I mean, the stuff that he did by hand, he always, God, he just, both men. I just love both of my grandfathers immensely. And they just, the amount of things that they both did individually and collectively for me as a kid, it's just incredible. Anyway, I'm babbling now. So I don't know. I know. Depends on when I can get in to see my doctor. I should be having a next Thursday show. I'm going to try and continue to keep this on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Pacific. And hopefully I won't be in quite so much pain next time. And I'll be able to do a bit more of a rundown. But anyway, if you are an ET abductee, if you are part of MiLabs, part of any kind of the secret space program, I don't know what else to call it. It's the only reason why I call it that. Until I learn and remember, not learn, but remember the full name, then I will, as soon as I get out of this chair. I think that's part of what's going on. Alice just said, I hope you get some relief soon. Yeah, me too. Well, and I think one of my pain meds is starting to wear off. So basically, when I start remembering, like I said, when I remember, you'll hear about it, because we'll have this conversation. I did not anticipate talking about this. This was a subject that, yeah, oh, sweetie, I know you do. This is a subject that is, for me, rather difficult to talk about. This is more difficult to me to talk about this than it is talking about my other regular ET abductions and the hybrid pregnancy programs. I mean, it's much more difficult to me to talk about this than that. And I hope you can understand why. The psychology on it is completely different. And now I understand why I have an extreme hatred, and I do mean hatred, of a very specific race of ET. They're vile. There's one specific race of ET I cannot stand. Now, granted, my experience with them Hasn't been nice. They are truly wicked. I have talked about them in the past. I have talked about them. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say these. That's why my eyes are darting all over the place, folks. I apologize. That and I'm tired, hurting. Trying to figure out how to say what I want to say publicly, which is always a difficult thing for me. And most of you know that I will try to say what I can very openly. And others know that if I have to skirt around something, I get really frustrated. And then trying to figure out how to word things. God, I hate that. So that your ass doesn't get in a twist. Or you have somebody coming after you for some effed up stupid reason. Alice is saying, I recall you mentioned them on a past live. Yeah, there's a specific race of ET that they are so wicked, they literally turn my stomach. The inside of my stomach tightens up and it does this quick reaction like a flip, and for the fact that I can even do that without screaming because of my back, that is huge. Anyway, so it literally does this real fast twitch, flip, twitch, whatever, and it's painful. And not only is it painful, it literally makes me almost projectile vomit instantaneously when it happens. That's why I have always, since 2018, 2019, have stated publicly, you ever get me on a sailing ship on the ocean, I can almost guarantee, almost, not 100%, but I can almost guarantee to you, I could have guaranteed it up until about 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, whenever the whatchamacallit started, the targeting by the government started. I could have guaranteed back then. I can pinpoint exactly where a U.S. underwater alien ET extraterrestrial combination base is located off the shores of Washington State. Then there are one or two, if I'm not mistaken, in California. And there's some in the river in Canada, up in British Columbia. Fraser River, couldn't think of the name of it. There's one or two in there, I think, but I don't remember for sure. There's even one there's an ET base that the military didn't know about until I talked about it publicly last year. I had to think about that. A friend of mine that has known me since the 1990s, when she and her family moved to Washington, they're now in a different section. And she told me about someplace, and I unexpectedly, higher consciousness, viewed it. It's not remote viewing, folks. This is very different than remote viewing. I've remote viewed before. This is not remote viewing. And I saw, as soon as they figured out, now here's the sick thing. As soon as they registered that I could see them, and that I could see them coming and going out of this lake around the Marysville area. Well, it's outside of Marysville, but that's beside the point. They locked it down, and I went, son of a bitch. So they had really high security on it. They were coming and going out of a lake that was or I call it poisoned, but that no vegetation would grow, and all the people in the surrounding community couldn't figure out why this lake was so wicked and nasty. Hello, it's because you got an underground base in it, and it's a small one. It's a small lake, but with a big underground base. And I caught him. I freaking caught him. And I literally got, I know which race of ET it is. I'm not saying that publicly. And I know why they shut it down. Because they didn't want the U.S. military knowing that they were there. They shut that access down. There's another access. I don't know where it's at, but there's another access. And I verbally stated exactly where that lake was, what the name of that lake was, and how often they were coming and going because they had a specific pattern. ET ships coming and going out of that lake. Yeah. So, and it was bizarre, the sensation. So yeah, these things are happening. They're happening on our planet. They're happening off planet. They are out in outer space, whether you want to believe that or not. Sorry, the little fan I've got going in here is picking up the curtain, so it's moving and shaking the curtain a bit. Anyway, the tailbone. So, and the overhead, the heater came on. That's the other thing that's going on. That's why it's making it go even further. So that's pretty much where I think I'm going to end this. I'm surprised I lasted this long. I said that before. Just realized that. Sorry. Take really good care of your folks. Know if you are an abductee of any shape, form, regarding ETs and hidden military and blah, blah, blah. You're not alone. Stay strong. Stay as strong as you possibly can. If that means you have to stay quiet for right now, then stay quiet for right now. Because if it's too dangerous for you, then it's too dangerous. I came out at a time where I stepped into foot by foot by foot, 1 foot at a time. And then it just kind of progressed from there. And then with all of my information and the different pieces of story that was my story, is my story, I had everybody telling me, you need to be out on YouTube. You need to be doing this. You need to be writing a book. Well, I'd been writing bits and pieces of a book. My grandchildren will really write the full story of my legacy, of what I've done in my lifetime. I believe that. I honestly know that. And I know that I will have a book out. Actually, I'll have a number of books out. I already know this. I'm already in the process of talking with people in the know about publishing, that really know, and artists. Searching for artists that can do what I want, the way I want it. Because not everybody is the same at doing art, and boy, do I know that one well. And I used to be a pretty good artist back in the day, but I've lost a lot of skills due to a lot of factors. So, and I'm not talking injury. I'm literally talking just basic life stuff. I didn't keep it up. If you don't keep up your art in a specific way, you start losing a lot of abilities, and that goes with anything. So maintain, if you've got psychic abilities, maintain those psychic abilities. Test yourself, use them frequently, keep them going, keep them updated. Find out new techniques, tips, and tricks that work for you. Same goes with mediumship. They'll always talk to you, but if you've got targeting and you've got electronic warfare weapons being used on you, it's a totally different ballgame. There are support groups. Hit me up if you want to know a few names. That's something I will not talk about publicly. Like I said, I'll tell you flat out what I will and won't talk about publicly. So, but if you want to know, there are some pretty good groups around. There are not many. in this huge community. But it is something for you to take note of and for you to take care of yourself, because this is different. This is different than any kind of trauma or positivity you've ever experienced. Just realize that. Realize you're not alone. And even if you do realize that you're not alone, make the recognition, and even if it's the small steps. Realize what I talked about last week and the weeks before, when I talk about the fact that even if your family or your loved ones do not know, or your work does not know about you being an abductee, there are people who are in groups where their family doesn't know, and for good reason. So you do what you have to do to protect yourself. You do what you have to do to heal yourself, because there is no... Hey, Blue Cruise. I'm just about getting done, though. There are things that you need to do to protect yourself, especially if you've got people who will not support you, who will belittle you, who do all the negative stuff. You need to protect yourself. You need to do what you need to do for you. Because well, if you're somebody like me where you didn't really come out and talk about any of it, but yet people picked up on the fact that you had psychic abilities in one fashion or form, there are people that I can, if you don't want to take learning from me, there are people that do really good psychic courses, and people that I would recommend. I'm not doing that here. That's a whole different ball game. Anyway, I want you to have the support. You need that. You need that going through this. Hey, sweetie. So I'm talking to Blue Cruise. So just take care of yourself. Find those ways that you can take care of you. Get into counseling if that's what you need. My thing, for me personally, with everything that I've got going on, I would love to have a counselor that believed in what I'm talking about, instead of turning around and telling you you're full of shit, that you're all psychologically damaged in this way and you need to be put into an asylum, into a mental ward. I'm not looking for something like that. I'm looking for somebody that can deal with current techniques, positive, healthy techniques regarding NLP, neuro-linguistical programming, because that's what worked for me last time. But I was taught in very specific, healthy ways. There are so many not so good versions of that. So do your research. I highly recommend doing research before, and you have the right to interview people. If they're going to be your doctor, or if they're going to be you or your person that you're going to need to get along with and you're going to need to help take instruction from, be helped by them to take instruction from. Because it isn't just about talking in counseling. It's about doing the work that it takes to get through the crap that you've been through. It's really important. It's really important to be mentally healthy, especially getting through this. I'm working through it. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I am realizing that I am having friends that have known me for many years, anywhere from 4 years, hell, even 2 years, 2 years to 25, 30 years, who are like, I know you, I believe in you, but I can't wrap my brain around what you're talking about. It goes way beyond what I can even fathom, what I can even imagine. I understand that. Honey, you're preaching to the frickin' choir here.
I've been there myself. I get it. But am I somebody? I used to get called. Oh, here's one for the books. I used to get called a quality, credible witness with integrity. You try being called that by numerous attorneys. So for me to sit here and to tell you what I'm telling you, it's a really big frickin' deal for me to even come out and be talking about this. And like I said, this is very different in comparison to talking about ETs. We're talking a whole nother woo factor, folks. We're talking the extreme of the extreme woo factors, and it's mind-bending. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around what I'm remembering, and I know they're my memories. Because I know how I remembered my repressed memories from childhood. This is exactly the same thing. They're coming up in exactly the same way. So, do your research into finding who you need to see. Do your research in getting the counseling that you need to deal with, because there are positives with the ETs, but there are also negatives. Do not go blindly into the night regarding dealing with all ETs are negative. Bullshit. All ETs are positive. Bullshit. There's a combination. Just like humans are a combination, there are ETs who are a combination of good and negative. Positive and negative. So, and you got to be careful with certain folks who are talking to. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to finish that statement. Because I know people that do and that will come after me, and I'm like, I'm not up for a fight right now. I don't want to even begin to deal with it. Just be careful who you follow and what you listen to. I do have ET spirit guides. I'm going to be blunt. I've got more than a few ET spirit guides, and one I know for a fact is alive. She is not a spirit guide, but that's what I put her in the category of. And when she wants to talk to me, she will, especially about really important things that affect the planet. And usually those are the things that I do mention and I bring up to you guys, and I'll tell you. Is that it? Yeah. Do I know her name? No. Do I care what her name is? Not really. Has she been accurate with her information? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Have the other spirit guides? Yeah, they have been. On my own regular spirit guides, they have been too, and so have the angels. So those that don't know, that I just realized there's a new person. Oh, sweetie, I think your name was Foxy Joe. So for those that are new, be aware that I deal with a lot of paranormal, have dealt with a lot of paranormal. People have witnessed it. Numerous people, in fact, have witnessed it. Numerous people have, in fact, seen premonitions that I've received, and premonitions that I have talked about come true. So whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. But I know the ones that have witnessed it or experienced it, they know it's true. So, and quite a few of them are in chat. That's the other thing. I've had Sasquatch talk to me. Not just one or two, but quite a few. They periodically keep track of me. So I deal with paranormal. I have dealt with cryptids. There's a gentleman who periodically will catch alive
And I've worked with him with his property a number of times, and he can tell you what he has seen and what I have talked about, which it all jives together. That's interesting. I'm hearing different sounds outside my wall. It almost sounds like in my wall, but it's not in the wall itself. I gotta find out if it's raining, because that's a new sound for me I've not heard. And I wasn't in my bedroom the other night when it dumped rain. It was almost hurricane type rain. The way it just pounded, but I wasn't back here at the time. I was out in the living room. So I don't know if that's a normal sound or not. What the hell was I gonna say? I think that's it, folks. I think I'm done. I'm finally done. Just, folks, if you're an ET abductee, know you're not alone. Know that you can get through this. If you've had a difficult time, you can get through this. It is doable. Have your friends and family that do support you. And if you don't have that, find people who will. Find people who do believe you. It's really that important. There are millions of us, and I'm not joking when I say that. Millions with an M. So, on that note, take very good See, let's try this again. On that note, I hope you take very good care of yourself. I will be doing that right after I get out of here. Take very good care. Deal appropriately in how you need to. And I hope you have a very good night and a good tomorrow, whatever tomorrow is for you on the replay. Bye, guys. Take care.